Hello, this is the 10 Eyes Podcast, a weekly show that talks about our love and our hate for all things media, hosted by me, Jack.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Andrew.
So this episode of the 10 Eyes Podcast will be involving spoilers around, obviously, Deadpool and Wolverine, as well as things like Loki, Logan, and various other X-Men properties. Welcome back to 10 Eyes Podcast.
Back from a week break.
Another week break. Dude, it was a hectic time. I'm just going to be honest and say that. It was a hectic week.
It really was. I mean, a lot of personal stuff. All of us had shit going on.
Yep.
Just, exhaustion.
Yes, but you know what? At the end of the day, you got to bring it all back. You know, you got to think about the most important part, the most important thing to really, ask yourself every single morning. How to prepare yourself. And to that, I always got to ask the age-old question, fellas.
Oh my God.
What did you have for breakfast?
That was a very long pause. I had 2 chocolate croissants. I microwaved them for like 40 seconds, and I ate them about 20 seconds. They were really warm. They hurt my throat and burnt my tongue, but my God, they were good.
All right, that's
Sounds
good.
nice.
Yeah,
That sounds
I'm
nice.
still in pain.
Andrew.
I had 2 protein bars. 2 different protein bars.
Oh, what flavors?
I had the regular Oreo grenade bar. That's my usual. But also on the Black Friday deals, I saw some Nature Valley, like peanut and chocolate protein bars. I love those. Taste really nice. Not as much protein, only 10 grams, but...
Not much, bro. Wait,
But yeah.
Wait, you like peanut butter?
Or not peanut butter, just peanut. But
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I
So
I don't mind peanut butter, but it's not like my go-to.
Yeah, I don't like peanut butter. I hate the texture. I hate how it tastes. No. Personally for me, Jack, I don't know about you.
I personally just eat Nutella.
it.
I don't really like bread or condiments, so...
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's
You
fair
don't like
enough.
condiments?
But here's the biggest plot
Oh my
twist
God.
ever.
I'm like,
Guys,
actually, hands
I'm
to
not
my heart.
prepared mentally.
Yeah.
I had breakfast.
I wasn't emotionally prepared either.
You gotta give me 10 minutes. Hold on.
Yeah, no, we need to take a break. We need to take a
telling me-
week break.
We need another week break on that one.
That's the reason we had to take a break. I had a breakfast the other
Okay,
week
what
as
did you
well.
have? What did you have for breakfast?
I had nuggets and fries.
Oh, I thought you were gonna be like, I had some cereal or a bacon.
No.
How many
sandwich.
nuggets?
3.
Great. That's such an odd choice.
How many
How many
chips?
chips?
At least
Do you-
20, I don't know.
At least.
Okay,
20,
that's not
eh?
bad. That's not
He
bad.
got
That's
the
a couple
nutrition.
calories.
Wait, what did you have for drink then this morning?
I have water.
He had water. That's okay,
healthy.
Okay. Yeah, going crazy.
I'm a plant. We've discussed this. I need my
oh,
water.
true. But then you did
Yeah,
have a
plants
Monster,
also
didn't
need
you?
their chips and nuggets.
Yeah, they.
Yeah, true. It's their favorite food.
I don't know.
On their own,
Can
but
I
yeah.
say, I love the dynamic of us. It's like one's more large, one's kind of skinnier, like regular, and then there's just like a buff Jim bro.
He's huge now.
huge, yeah.
I mean this. If you meet Andrew in real life, he is
He's
huge.
huge in the buff way. I'm huge in the belly way.
Hey, don't slouch on my belly. I got a little bit there.
I'm saying, okay, compare us. Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Come on, dude. Come on, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I caused my own twink death.
Oh, R.I.P. R.I.P. Okay.
Guess the straight one.
The answer will shock you.
Yeah. No, because my partner had this theory that if we went into a line and we talked to a random person and they had to guess who the virgin was, I don't know if they'd be able to get it. I don't know if they'd be able to guess which is who.
If I had my hair down, the answer would be obvious.
Yeah. It's like you're implying you have long hair.
Yeah.
had my
Yeah.
hair
It's
down.
more so just for front.
That was fair. That's just that was so funny.
Is Deadpool
The franchise.
the movies, not the comic book character, but specifically the movie character? Though he is a comic book character, one that was ripped off of Deathstroke, the DC
No, it
character, which
just
is ultimately
wasn't, though.
better.
He
And I
just
will
wasn't.
die on this hill. I will die on this hill. I do not
So,
care.
If you can't tell, we have opposing thoughts, me and Jack. Jack is a little DC, you're so dark. What you
Little
DC universe.
DC. Notice that.
Yeah, you're a big DC. I'm big Marvel. Andrew is also.
I'm just like here for the ride. I'm the casual.
I think I'm both actually. I like both. I do kind of prefer Marvel. I grew up on Marvel. I prefer it, and I think Deadpool 1. I think that was kind of one of the first R-rated movies I saw because it was Marvel, and I was like, oh wait, I know this character.
I remember when that came out in cinema, and everybody under the moon wanted to fucking see Deadpool.
Yeah, everyone was like,
Yeah,
oh
it
my
was a
god,
big thing.
finally.
Yeah, no, everybody really wanted to see Deadpool. It was insane.
Because today we've taken one film each to explain and go into our personal thoughts and then our group thoughts.
Yes, indeed. And saying that, how about you explain to us Deadpool 1, Andrew?
Okay, yeah. I just want to give like a brief anecdote of my first time watching Deadpool 1.
Of course, yeah.
So I only got about halfway through the movie, not because I disliked it, but I had an ear infection that day, and I was watching it with my parents. And they thought it was like, oh, I was turned off by the sex scene. I was just like, no, my ear is in absolute agony. I can't watch this anymore.
Oh no, it was definitely the other case. What do you mean? It was definitely like that.
But yeah.
Oh no, poopies!
What?
Oh
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
go on.
but explaining the plot of Deadpool
go-
1. So you follow this dude named Wade Wilson. He is a hitman for hire, former special forces member, and involved in all this underworld activity. So, one day, he meets this girl, this prostitute. They fall in love, and life seems to be going pretty great for him. However, then later it's like revealed he's developed stage 4 cancer, so he has to find some way to cure that. The way he does it, he goes to this underground test facility that basically injects him with some sort of serum that awakens his mutant powers, albeit he has to get like brutally tortured. This leaves Wade completely, deformed and pissed off. He fights Ajax, Francis, who is like behind this, and ultimately he ends up losing. Although because of his healing factor, he doesn't die. He then later on, he sort of abandons his life a little bit and just goes on an absolute tear. He builds a suit and he just goes after anyone with any connection to Francis. Until Francis starts to take notice and he's like, oh, well, shit, he's like, Wade is still alive. And basically it gets to the end where, Francis and Deadpool are fighting and, well, Deadpool ends up killing Francis, stopping all of the organization. And Deadpool's a hero, but not really.
He is very much of an anti-hero character. And what I will say is that I love the line of, I just didn't get a cure for cancer, I got a cure to everything.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny when I first watched it.
I think it does such a good superhero origin, being tragic and quite funny. And I love... my favourite part of this movie is the whole montage scene of him trying to find Francis. But then I realised, the second time I watched it, I realised that because he's calling the boss Francis, they're going to have no idea who that is because his name is Ajax. So he's searching for someone that they'll have no idea who that is, and it makes it even funnier because they're going for Francis, which the guy hasn't been called in years. I think that's my favourite bit of the whole movie. I think that's great.
Again, I have always had the whole thing of I'll watch or read a Deadpool comic, and every single time I'm just I enjoy it, I view it, but every single time I'm just sitting there I just see the inspiration sometimes. It's very clear.
You see the Deathstroke inspiration.
Like the name is similar, and also Wade Wilson, Slade Wilson, their names are literally the same. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my only critique with it. But when I look past that, I genuinely have so much fun watching those movies. But one I think is funnier and just better.
Yeah, do you agree, Andrew? Now that you've watched all three of them,
I
think the funny one.
Very much enjoyed Deadpool 1. I think that it was I think it was a very good film.
Yeah.
I think as to build on your point, I think it was just a great origin story. It knows when to make you tear up or knows when to make you laugh. And it explains Deadpool as a character, it introduces him so well.
Yep.
Fully agree. It really pays the way for that kind of R-ratedness. I mean, it did open a lot of doors for other franchises, and especially the X-Men franchise going forward, to kind of lead into that R-ratedness, especially with Logan and kind of that lot.
Yep. Absolutely.
I don't know.
I think
I don't know if you guys have seen Logan.
I have.
Not.
Yeah, it's just really good.
I love Logan.
They bring up Wolverine a lot throughout these movies.
They do.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it makes sense, but it's just... I liked the first one.
Yeah.
I think
Same.
I can't really rewatch it anymore. I think I've seen it too many times. I think with Ryan Reynolds and in general with his movies, you can watch them a couple times, and then for me, I'm out.
Yeah.
That's absolutely
Yeah, that's
kind
absolutely
of,
valid.
I can understand the joke. I know where the humor is going because it's kind of every time.
He's got a very consistent style.
Do you guys have a favorite fight scene in the first one? Because I've mentioned the montage, but I don't know about you guys.
I've got two, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
There's the opening scene with
Oh.
the car chase. That was brilliantly done. Again, like I think perfectly like demonstrates what Deadpool is, you know, what he's about, you know, like the resourcefulness, but also like the comedy and all of that. I also liked the scene where his first fight with Francis when they're like in the burning laboratory.
Yeah.
I thought that was like
yeah.
really well done. The choreography was amazing.
I think for me, about Deadpool 1, the best I can remember of it is the highway scene. I think that's still
Yeah.
just what I remember. All of
the
that
how-
was so
what,
good.
Like
There's
after,
all of that.
all of it. Yeah, the 12 bullets bit is great.
Yeah, I love that.
I love the VFX shot where it close-ups to the bullet and you can
Yeah.
see what number he's at. I think
Yeah.
it's really great detail.
I mean, like I think
I don't know.
Deadpool 1's opening scene definitely it sets a precedent for the rest of the opening scenes.
Yeah.
I think Deadpool's like his movies are known for those opening scenes in particular.
One final thing about Deadpool is I think it also did the one thing it needed to do for that character, which was undo the damage of what they did in Wolverine
Yeah.
Origins,
Oh
which
my
was
God.
damagedly like assassinate that character altogether.
I didn't want to bring that up because I knew it would spark like a 50-minute conversation. But X-Men Origins Wolverine, it did so much damage to the characters of X-Men and the box office. Oh my God, watching that for the first time, going, oh my God, they're gonna bring out Deadpool. That's so cool. Like I watched Origins after I watched Deadpool, so I thought, oh, let's do it. And then he came out like that as basically X11, and
Yeah.
that was when I clocked out of that movie.
Yeah,
the movie was
no.
awful. It's
So,
not.
so that's what I mean. I think it repaired that damage a little bit. But going into Deadpool 2, it's a bit after Deadpool 1. Deadpool is still a hitman. He is living with the love of his life, Vanessa, and Vanessa is sadly killed in that endeavor. And then Deadpool becomes kind of depressed, but he then eventually is taken under the wing of the X-Men Colossus and becomes an X-Men trainee. And then is also having to deal with the whole with a debacle around this kid called Russell, who in the future does something to a character called Cable, and Cable is kind of Terminator style, trying to kill Russell before he could do that to his family.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like time travel and Terminator combined with, as Deadpool puts it, a family film, which I don't really know how to feel about. My general thought of it all, I'm just gonna say this: Deadpool 2 is, I would say, not as good as the first one.
I
Okay.
agree.
I
I
actually
mean, I was
disagree.
gonna wait until after to get into
No,
it.
I love it.
But yeah, no, I disagree. Or no, I agree. I mean, with that,
Yeah, you think Deadpool 2 is worse?
I think Deadpool 2 is a bit worse.
I disagree with you guys. I like Deadpool 2 more than the first one.
Okay.
I personally, it's not like that much higher. They're still 3.5, but I think Deadpool 2 marks the landing for my interpretation of Deadpool when he's kind of a side character. I love his origin. I think it was great, but when he's the main character and he doesn't shut up, it kind of ruins the shtick after about 20 minutes. And in Deadpool 2, he has more people to bounce off of. He has Domino, he has Cable, he has Russell, and I like that more. He can kind of quip when he needs to rather than having to quip. Flows a lot more, and I like Cable. I really like Cable. He's one of my favorite
Cable's
characters.
cool.
Yeah, Cable is pretty cool. You're mentioning that oh yeah, I don't really like it when, he's, talking, and I'm like, but the whole point of Deadpool is that he just talks and yaps.
Yeah.
So I was like, when I'm watching him in this one, I'm also like, there is not necessarily as much like of that R rating that was in the first one. I feel like it was tamer.
I definitely agree. It was
And
tamer.
and then
yeah.
and then I'm sorry that this might sound wrong, but I just do not like any part of that of Fire Fist. I do not like any of that arc. I think that character is annoying.
I've got mixed feelings on Russell.
Yeah.
I think I liked his story, and I think he was portrayed well as like, a cringy kid who's misguided. But I do also think is like sometimes it just feels like a bit like, why the hell are you doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem a little forced. I get you.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
Jack, what did you like the third act with Deadpool, like Cable and Deadpool kind of having this tag kind of match of trying to save Russell or kill Russell?
I thought it was just like fine, I guess.
It was fine, yeah.
And that's like my whole thing about Deadpool 2. It's fine. I'm just like, it feels so much tamer than the first one.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The cinema, I think we can all agree on this. I think the fight choreography is so much tamer.
Yeah.
And kind of going into your R rating aspect, it is less R rated.
Yeah.
I think when we watched it all together, we kind of all of us went, "Oh, that's a bit weird. Why is it done like that?"
Like, people were missing their heads and shit in the first one, and this one, they're just like breaknecks or just a lot of like body breaking, but not a lot of like I'm not saying we need blood. I mean, I'm really much against gore being like the factor, but I'm also like, Deadpool's character is very much over the top.
Yeah.
And here you make him pretty tame.
Yeah, I think with the first one with the baby kind of hand, they go extensive and they do the legs. He gets chopped in half and then he has the baby legs, and that's
Yeah.
really funny. And that leads me into the worst character in both the first one and the second one is Weasel. We hate Weasel. All my homies hate Weasel.
The fact that when he pointed the gun and pushed up his glasses, I was losing it internally.
Yeah. What do you guys don't like about Weasel?
He's TJ Miller.
Okay. The actor himself, Andrew?
As a character, I didn't think he was as bad as you guys are making him out to be. I think he was a bad character. Yeah, I thought he was like pretty funny, honestly, at certain points. I mean, his whole thing is a coward, but that, it's not really like done incredibly well. Like, the dude's got like no integrity whatsoever.
I think the actor in real life ruins the jokes. I definitely agree. I think he's funny in some instances, especially with the whole being a baby. He does make a good joke. And when Jack cringed at the pulling up of the glasses, I laughed at that. I found that hilarious.
Stupid.
I found that funny.
Like, I looked at Weasel and I genuinely thought he was gonna go like, so what are you, some kind of Deadpool?
Oh my god.
Like, you know
no.
what I mean? He gives that character vibe of like, he'll just like say the title drop.
Yeah, he'll give that classic vibe.
He'll give that classic
Yeah.
vibe. Was like, he's right behind me, isn't he?
Surprised he didn't appear in the Disney one or
Well,
the MCU one.
that is a good segue into my brief synopsis of the third one.
Oh yes.
Hell yeah.
The first two kind of correspond to the timelines of real life. So Deadpool 1 takes place in 2016.
Oh, we forgot to mention.
You're what?
But at the end of the film, Deadpool undoes a lot of stuff because
that's
he
what
goes
I'm
back
gonna
in
get
time.
into. Yeah,
I just had to mention it before we
no,
moved
you're
on.
fine. In Deadpool 1 is 2016. In Deadpool 2 it's 2018. In Deadpool 3 it's 2024, but there are some ramifications with the timeline aspect. This movie is marketed as the first Deadpool within the MCU, and I kind of disagree. It's not in the MCU, it's under the Marvel Disney banner. That doesn't mean it's set in the MCU. We only have one scene that is set in the 616 Sacred Timeline, the stuff they set up in Loki and Doctor Strange. And the rest is set up in this void and his own universe, which they do a big retcon and make it the same universe as the X-Men movies. I don't know if you guys liked that retcon of Deadpool 1 and 2 being in the same universe as X-Men 1 through 3 and then Days of Future Past and all that stuff. As Deadpool 3 commences, he's done being a superhero. Vanessa is back alive thanks to Cable's time-traveling device, which is what he came back for to kill Russell, and he fixed a bunch of stuff. And as Vanessa is alive, Vanessa's kind of had enough of him. He's not doing anything. He's not there. So he wants to become a superhero again without being Deadpool. With the Cable watch, he goes to the Sacred Timeline 616 and he talks to Happy Hogan, which I don't know if did you like that surprise, Andrew?
I was sort of taken aback because that's like, of all characters,
Yeah.
Happy Hogan is fucking. It's just stupid.
It's stupid, and he gives the main motivation for this movie and talking about the Avengers, how the Avengers aren't there because they want to do it themselves. They're there because they're needed. So when he goes back to his own timeline, he's done. But then, out of the blue, the TVA arrive. Did you guys know what the TVA was before this movie?
I did.
I did not.
What did you think it was?
It's sort of just like, it's so hard to explain. Like, basically
know.
just like multiverse police, but like
Yeah, but
very
that's
corrupt.
pretty much what they are.
I'm bouncing this synopsis off Andrew because you've not seen Loki, whereas me and Jack have. So the TVA is explained to us, but I just want to see if you got the general gist of the TVA throughout this movie.
I think I got like a bit of a taste. I think I'd probably have to watch Loki to get like the full thing.
It's quite difficult to understand within the 10-minute time span. They get Deadpool because the higher-ups, and in this instance it's Loki after season 2. Loki has opened the timelines to interwave. Before in season 1, you'd have one straight timeline, the secret timeline 616, and they would prune variants and timelines that did not fit with the corresponding.
Which I may add was probably what I thought was the coolest thing Marvel has ever done, and I'm like, oh, explains why we don't have any like crazy other like multiversal things, because if they did, boom, gone.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
So with this being set after Loki season 2, we get this thing where they interwave, but Paradox does not like it. One of the main antagonists of the film.
One of my favorite characters.
He's so good in the movies. He wants to prune this timeline because now with the retcon being set in the main X-Men timeline, in the distant future, Logan dies. Deadpool gets sent to the TVA to sort it all out and move towards a different timeline because he's there for a special purpose. But he doesn't like that. His friends and his family are at home. So he goes off course and he tries to find a new anchor being, where we get one of these most famous montages like we did in the first one, and kind of in the second one, we get to see these kind of different versions of Logans. And I don't know which favorite Logan you guys had. My favorite was the comic accurate Logan, where it was like 5'2". I think that was the best one.
That was a very good joke.
What made me laugh the hardest when I saw this in the cinema was probably Cavill.
Yeah, the
That
cavalry.
made me die laughing because I was like, oh, what's this one? No fucking way.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, as much as I don't like it when Marvel take quips at DC, but then when they went, oh my god, this just feels right. We'll treat you so much better than those shitholes down the street. I'm like, okay, you'll get that one. That's funny as hell.
Good joke. And to speed it along, they find this Logan considered to be the worst one out of the entire multiverse. Deadpool tries to initiate to switch this anchor being from Logan during 2029 to this Logan that it wears a comic accurate costume, yellow and blue, which is amazing. And then they both get pruned to the void to find their main antagonist, Cassandra Nova, which is hard to explain, but they do such a good job of just saying is a twin of Charles Xavier. Technically, she's an alien, and that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys knew that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they go to the void. They're stuck in this place. They find some great cameos set before within the Fox timeline. And that brings up to my kind of main thing that I love about this movie is that it kind of treats the void as development hell for movies that no longer have a purpose in the MCU.
And that's what I really, really loved about this as a guy who didn't like the MCU but loved Fox because it was just more chill, I felt. And the fact that it was kind of like done after Disney bought it to kind of see all these characters like Blade and stuff come back. I'm like, yes, that's great. I liked Blade. Blade was one of the first Marvel movies I loved seeing. I remember that.
So as they more evolve into the void and they spend time with each other, they find this resistance group. Realize that if they get Juggernaut's helmet, they can escape and go back to their main timeline to stop Paradox from destroying 10005. So they do that, and then we get this great scene of all these Deadpool Corp-esque people. We get Lady Deadpool, we get Head Deadpool, we get Dog Deadpool, which was throughout the movie.
Yep.
And we get this great fight scene. What was your favorite bit of that fight scene? Because there's a lot to it.
My favorite scene was before the fight happens, Wolverine finally wore the helmet.
Yeah.
When he pulled up that thing, every Norwegian in the cinema hall just all collectively went, it was that kind of gasp. It was like, no, they didn't. And then everybody was just in it from there on.
Yeah, everyone was locked in. What about you, Andrew?
I mean, I think that was a really sick moment. I just liked when they all just went into the bus.
Oh yeah.
And you could just see the blood splattering everywhere, everyone just getting just destroyed. It was just badass.
It was badass. Yeah.
I want to talk about how they end the fight though, because that's such a good gag.
That, but as they go through the fight, the side character from the second one, Peter, which you didn't mention in your thing.
Oh shit!
But
I'm
it's
sorry.
fine because we can mention it now. We can have a Peter segment. Andrew,
we need
please.
his own segment.
Hold on, Andrew. Please give it away because I know he's your favorite.
Okay, yeah. So basically, Peter he's just an ordinary guy. He's got no powers. He's not athletic or anything. you know, he's got a lovely mustache and a massive bulge.
Yeah.
No, okay.
He make a very big point of that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, but as well, he was in Deadpool 2 when they were making the task force. Out of all the people that signed up to X-Force, Peter just saw it and went, I don't know, it looked fun.
They replaced Weasel with Peter in the third one as like the side character,
Which I'm
like, the
happy
human
about.
Side character, and it's so much funnier. How he breaks up the fight is so great. He turns up in the Deadpool costume on his bike from earlier in the movie, and he goes, "Wait, it's okay, we're all friends." And his outfit is so skin tight on him that you can tell it's Peter. It's not any of these cool ass Deadpools. And then the Deadpools just rally on him. They love him so much. They love him so much, and that's how the fight ends.
I just love how, like, you have all these Deadpools, but you just have Peterson.
Yeah. They have like a samurai one, and he does with his tiny arms because they've been cut off, and he goes, "Hey!" He does a little samurai salute, and that's amazing.
I also don't want to talk about the gag with Nice Pool because like all of
Okay, yeah. I saved that. Yes. Let me finish the synopsis, and we can get right into Nice Pool and Mary Poppins.
And
now.
all of the other things I want to mention.
Exactly.
so
So
much.
they go down into the underground layer where the Time Ripper is that destroys timelines. This is how they prune them beforehand. They'd have these little grenades, and they would go off, and they'd prune the timeline. Now, with a lot of them, they could destroy an entire universe. And with it, Cassandra Nova has taken it over. And because they've taken it over, to Deadpool and Wolverine go down, and they each kind of want to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. Deadpool to save his family, and Wolverine to save his kind of dignity towards leaving the X-Men in his timeline and getting them killed. So they do a switcheroo where we think Wolverine's going to sacrifice himself, and at the end, Deadpool gets like a propane tank, hits him in the head, and goes in to destroy this thing. And as he's trying it, Living on a Prayer by Madonna, kind of the marketing song for the movie, comes on. It's emotional, and you think he's not going to do it. And then Wolverine comes in, and he helps him save the day. But as he helps him, and if they made jokes in the movie, he becomes topless, and he's ripped. They both save the day.
Men and women in that cinema hall, I'm telling you, all the women in the cinema hall, they looked, but I saw straight men in my cinema hall, and they looked, and they all just went, my God.
You saw a straight man in that viewing just now.
For real, yeah.
A straight man was just looking at the screen like jaw open like,
Man, he's
Everyone
ripped.
loves it.
he is so
ripped.
hot.
Okay, yeah. So now with the synopsis over, I want to ask everyone's favourite bits kind of throughout the entire franchise and just Deadpool 3 in general.
So
Well-
I'm going to stick it mainly to Deadpool 3 because I'm going to talk about one thing,
Yeah.
or two things specifically. That being that Deadpool 3 has the best opening to all of the Deadpool movies.
I think it was a pretty funny one.
Because
Do you prefer it over
because I just love how the music and sound effects are perfectly like in sync. And I
Yeah.
love that if you think about the song they're playing, it's basically Deadpool saying, I'm done being your little pet slave. I'm going to do my own thing and live with Disney now. I love like that kind of like choice for this movie. And I just find it fun. Or like in the context of the movie, I'm done being kind of thrown around. I'm going to do my own shit. I like that.
Yeah.
But actually, the thing that got me laughing the most was Gambit. The
You
fact
love
that they had
Gambit.
Channing Tatum be Gambit. So
think
many,
that's
like,
great.
I just love that he is like, okay, I never got out of this place. And like, all of his dialogue is so funny.
Yeah, you can't understand
I don't know
it.
if I was born ready, but I know I shouted my daddy's. I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
Jesus!
It's great.
You know, Channing Tatum is the reason this movie got where it was.
I think it did it without him. I think just the fact of Wolverine
Yeah.
coming back from a separate
And
timeline.
I just love that the violence was back, and like
Yeah.
also this movie felt a lot more comic book, and like for me, I was mainly there for Wolverine. I did grow up on the X-Men movies. And my favorite character was Wolverine, so getting to see him again with Hugh Jackman was pretty cool. And I liked also that the reason he finally wears the comic book accurate suit in the movie is not just because he's doing it; it's also a deeper reason for it.
Yeah, so I can imagine. Do you agree, Andrew? Do you
Yeah.
think- yeah.
That was sick. First off, I think the funniest part about like the opening scene was just the fact he is fighting off these dudes with a corpse. Like
Yes.
He's
he
fighting
is
off with Logan's dead body.
yeah,
That
he is
amazing.
he is killing people with just the bones of a dead guy that considered like sacred. I think that was hilarious. Although it was a bit upsetting that they didn't have like the funny like names in the opening sequence.
Yeah, Yeah.
because that's something the other two had.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that they did that.
Yeah.
They didn't do that one in the third.
They killed her? What the fuck?
In the second one, it happens right after Vanessa dies. So the whole thing is like, wait, you just killed a character? What do you mean? And then the first one is just to make fun of all the studio executives. But I did like that third opening sequence, how the text is kind of within universe. Like when when Deadpool shakes his ass, it hits an A and it bounces off. It's really great.
Yeah. So to get to my second point, I was saying about it earlier. Nice Pool. He was so
Yes.
funny. Nice Pool is basically just regular Deadpool, but very nice, and with one quirk being he doesn't have regeneration powers.
Yeah.
He's like somewhat Canadian, has the dog, and is nice to everyone, and it's just the opposite of Deadpool.
Oh, and he's
I
got
love that.
gold desert eagles.
Oh, you can break the fourth wall? Well, so can I. The proposal.
Oh my God.
I think his death was just so funny because he's super nice to the end, and he's just he just gets like opened up with like bullets and that.
Obliterated.
So then we assume like, oh yeah, all the other Deadpools, they probably don't, and then they all do. He's the
it's
only
just the
one
way.
who doesn't.
I just love that Wolverine with like in that segment and in with Johnny Storm's point, but like in
Yeah.
both cases with him, he's just like, you killed him.
I love that just Nice Paul doesn't have a bad bone in his body.
There's
There's
nothing.
nothing wrong with him. And the fact that he has Mary Poppins' dog paw, it makes it even funnier because he just loves him to death. He loves that dog.
Yeah.
Even when he's dying, it's just heartwarming.
Yeah, it's so heartwarming.
I love kind of the marketing strategy behind Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman being like, we're not going to touch Logan. We're not going to go near that body. That takes place in 2029. This takes place current time. We're not going to touch it. And when I watched it in the cinemas, I was like, I wonder what they're going to do. And then the first thing they bring up is how they're going to dishonor Logan's memory by digging him up. That's not what I expected from them. I thought they were genuinely going to keep their promise, and they fooled us all. I love that opening sequence, and I love the way they treated, like you said earlier, Andrew, how he's kind of like a sacred hero. Even when the TVA are like, he was a hero, you're an asshole. He's
Yeah.
like, well, fuck you, then I'm just going to murder you.
I have to talk about Paradox.
Yes,
Because
please.
as I didn't, when I first watched, when I was watching it, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like this character that much. But he's so over the top British, and that I cannot enjoy him. And it's just I am the Mercy Killer. I was like,
He puts his
Jesus
hand-
Christ.
He plays it like a stage performance.
It's so good.
He's amazing. My favorite bit is when he gets with Cassandra Nova's powers. She kind of has to go into the people's heads, and the VFX is so good. I love Paradox. I think it's great.
I also really like the whole pack when he's going off on Deadpool, and he's like, how dare you do this? How dare you bring the worst Wolverine to me? And then he just turns, a random guy comes with a sandwich. Thanks. and then the thought of destroying my universe makes you pickish. Like, mouthful.
Did you guys prefer that over Cassandra Nova?
I
Yeah, the
wish
villain-
that
villain-wise?
Paradox. I wish Paradox had stayed the villain, because I just like how over the top he was, and he really I don't know. To me, he really represented like Feige Marvel Productions. Like, oh, we want Wolverine in the MCU, and we don't really care about Fox, and we want you in it, but whatever, we don't care. Oh, what? You're not the real big guy of this universe. That was Wolverine. I don't know. To me, he just screamed, I am the stand-in for the production crew.
I just want to
like
ask,
that?
what is it with Deadpool and British villains? Because
fucking
Francis was also British.
And
Yeah.
you wanna
two,
yeah,
you
if
had
you-
like the people in there. They were also British.
Yeah.
Wait, the Institute people?
Yes,
Oh yeah, they were.
they were British.
I also want to bring up, like, you guys were talking about Paradox. The fact they spoiled a part of a future film that has not happened yet with basically Thor holding Deadpool in his arms, like, in some, like, tragic moment is
Oh yeah,
so
on one
funny.
of the TVA screens when they show him the MCU, they show him Deadpool with Thor crying.
Why
It's
was
just
Thor
like-
crying?
Like, spoiling a movie that hasn't even started production yet is the funniest
Yeah,
thing
and
you
I-
could possibly
And I don't know
do.
if you guys noticed this, but as the movie goes on, every time he gets knocked out and wakes up, he says a different name for Thor. He starts with God of Thunder, and then he goes Thor because he thinks he's dreaming and he thinks he's dying and he's
Yeah.
gonna wake up in
Oh,
his
yeah.
arms. I was so funny. I'm not a big fan of Ryan Reynolds talking about himself and Blake Lively and his kids in the third one. I don't know if you. I think
Yeah,
that's
you
just a
got very
personal gripe.
tired of it.
Yeah.
I just.
Was during watching.
I
I-
get it.
yeah.
He's Ryan Reynolds. I don't care for it. I don't know about you guys, but that's my least favorite kind of joke throughout this franchise.
What I'm gonna say about why I justify it is because you are the Deadpool right now, Ryan. You are
Yeah.
the guy who plays him. I will let it slack,
Yeah.
and seeing as I also don't really care that much about the MCU. I don't mind those jokes. I'm here for Ryan and here for Hugh Jackman. I like that they actually joke about them being actors, especially all the Music Man jokes.
Oh my god, yeah, The Greatest Showman. They always just
So
they always bring it
it's
up.
so funny. Just in the car while they're fighting. Whoa!
Yeah, when
Oh, and I don't know. I love Deadpool and Wolverine's dynamic for the whole thing. I love how much they bicker and fight each other.
they're like an old married couple.
No, for
Yes,
real.
They are. They
The
are.
the whole car scene, probably like the best to show that off.
Oh yeah, the Wolverine, like his little rant about
Yeah.
Deadpool in that car was like actually like incredible acting.
Yeah.
It was great. And I think he does something more
Yeah.
than he did in Logan. I think he really brings that rawness. Whereas Logan, he's just sad and he's tired, he's grumpy.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
he
and they
plays
fight
Blur.
so much in the movie. I love it.
I think they have like 3 fight scenes or something.
They
Not
have-
to mention
yeah.
also that one sequence with all the different Wolverines where they all just fucking murder him.
Yeah, as he's trying to get a new anchor being, he tries to find one that, yeah, like you said, they're all fighting him because they know who he is. They're already sick of him. Like, they know who Deadpool is and they don't want anything to do
Yeah.
with him. I think that's great. And I want to ask, what are the rankings then? Star ratings, number 1 and number 3, least favorite characters, favorite characters. I want the whole shebang.
Okay, so
Start
from
with
the
Jack.
from the DC guy, I'm going to give you my personal ranking: Deadpool, Wolverine, Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2.
I think you guys are going to probably be the same, no?
I think Deadpool 2 for me is last. I think that's like sort of like definitive. I think I might give a slight edge to Deadpool 1 over Deadpool and Wolverine just because I'm not as familiar with Wolverine. Like Deadpool Wolverine was a very good movie. I think I might have to watch it like again like in a few months on my own time to like really let it sit. But yeah, I think it's a very close one for me. But yeah, I'd say Deadpool 1 just slightly narrows it.
I actually, you guys are going to hate me. I think it goes Deadpool 2, Deadpool Wolverine, and Deadpool 1.
Damn.
Yeah, that's
Very different opinions. I liked the whole Void multiversal stuff, but it felt so flat and kind of they're just doing what the plot needed. It didn't feel natural.
Oh yeah.
Personally, I think it's great they're in the Void. They're seeing these Fox heroes. It just feels like they had an idea about Fox's development hell and kind of how these old heroes are forgotten and left. And then they went, oh, can we just put it in the Void? And it's like, oh, okay, what about Cassandra Nova? Oh, she can just be one of the people. She kind of has the same origin as Sylvie in Loki. I didn't really like that. I think Paradox is such a great villain. Cassandra Nova is such a great villain. And obviously it's only like 2 minutes, 2 seconds. It's one dialogue bit. But that kind of icked me and how she was just kind of got pruned before she could do
Yeah.
anything. And it wasn't my jam.
But I
don't know. Maybe I'm just a hater.
I will rise to the defense of Cassandra Nova with one thing. Her scene with Logan, I think, actually was pretty nice because I like that Charles would tear a hole in the universe to find you. I don't know. I just like a little part of me that remembers X-Men. I'm like, oh, I like this Logan. Yeah.
I wish she had more screen time. Just personally, I don't know if you agree, Andrew. I just kind of wish.
Yeah, I think she could have been fleshed out like a little bit more. I think another character I kind of wish got a bit more screen time. Chris Evans as the Human Torch.
Yeah, because
He was like such a different. I was like, oh, it's Chris Evans again, you know, like
He's
because
gonna
we
be-
all know him as Captain America. He played it so differently, and it was just hilarious, like the juxtaposition. And I just kind of like wish he had like a scene or two. Because like he kind of just like shows up, like has like a rant and then like dies in the next scene basically.
I don't know about your favorite characters. Jack, I assume yours is Wolverine in the
Yeah.
third one.
I think the Deadpool and Wolverine suits were the better ones. I like those a lot. Like the Wolverine suit, like when he pulled down the mask, I agree that was like a really cool moment. Favorite characters?
Yeah, just like a favorite character because there's a lot in those
Yeah.
3 movies.
I like Colossus a lot. The first one that came to mind though was it Blind Al?
Yeah, Blind Owl's great.
She is like she's funny. There's not much to say about
Yeah,
her,
yeah,
like because
exactly.
she's only got a few scenes, but I think the scenes she does do, they're just funny. They're just good.
She's always right with her comedic timing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely agree.
I think
yeah.
they play off her disability like so well.
they don't do it in a they don't really do it in a rude way.
Yeah,
think
it's
I
not like
disagree.
intrusive, and I
Yeah.
think like like her and Deadpool's dynamic, like they play off each other so well with like the baby hands and like
Yeah, Blind Owl is probably one of my favorite characters. I think my favorite character kind of throughout them all is Colossus and how he steers Deadpool trying to be good and Deadpool just doesn't want to do it. I think their dynamic is what I wished Cable and Deadpool was in the second one. That kind of friendly banter, but they're both on the good side, whereas Cable's like a villain in the second one.
Again, very Terminator.
Yeah, I think Colossus like also learning from Deadpool to like be a bit bad sometimes is also really funny because like in the first one he's super like pure and he's always like, oh, be a hero, but then in the second one he's like, nah, I don't mind playing a little dirty this time.
Yeah, exactly. But I just want to quickly steer ahead. Favorite suits. What was everyone's favorite suit?
Of just Deadpool?
Of just
or-
any of them, yeah.
Oh.
Because I think in the third one there's very comic accurate suits. In the second one they're kind of dark and bleak, and in the first one it's very kind of homemade.
I'm gonna say this. I think my favorite suit out of all of the Deadpool movies were Gambit's.
Yeah,
I
Gambit is
loved
cool.
his look.
Yeah, you like a long coat, don't you, Jack? Like a
What
coat
you
wise.
mean? That's not like my thing or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
If you see a Norwegian in a long jacket, run.
It's Jack. It's always Jack. I like Deadpool 3's suit. I love the red, like you really said earlier, with the comic accuracy and the comic book style.
I think it's vibrant. I think
It's-
that
yeah.
I agree.
It's vibrant, and I like that one the
The
most.
Taylor bit is so funny.
I-
Ooh, I feel good. Your Taylor though, definitely.
I think it's funny how like they give him like a full upgrade. What is it, like adamantium katanas,
Yeah.
like a new suit, and then he just like completely like backstabs them.
It's
It's
really
really
funny.
I'm
funny.
also
funny.
give Deadpool and Wolverine the credit for the most nastiest katana kill ever.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate when he grabs the katana, bounces it on the ground, and it
Oh,
flies.
yeah,
I
during
was
the
like,
op-
no.
yeah.
I was like
I hate
some
it.
like Mortal Kombat ass death.
It's
It's so
good.
quick and it's just. I'm like, Jesus.
Because he mentions Canada. Once
Yeah.
again, a Ryan Reynolds
Keep
joke.
my
But yeah.
country's name out of your mouth.
I thought it was a bit of like a Will Smith joke.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
And my last point on that is that the main reason I adore Deadpool and Wolverine to death, I think, is mainly that it was such a love letter to the Fox universe, and all the people that enjoyed that. And like the little ending, like montage of all the pictures and stuff and clips of that time, a little like tribute to Fox. I'm like, that was nice. As much things, just like Deadpool and Wolverine, and like they did with Fox, all things must come to an end, and sadly, so must this episode of 10 Eyes Podcast. It's time to wrap it up. As much as I am a DC guy, I do like these movies, and that's where I'm going to leave it at that.
They were a very good watch.
Yes.
And they're very good with friends.
As per always, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll be seeing you next time on the 10 Eyes Podcast.
Bye bye.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye,
Bye.
and see you later.